So hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to another Friday Zoom. I am so excited to have you here. We are at the end of May. It is April 26th, and time is flying by really, really fast, right? So if you
Too
are the
fast.
type of person who wants to improve their health by making lifestyle changes, then you are in the right place. Every Friday, I open up my Zoom so that we can share and inspire one another and share tips and tricks on how to reclaim our health with doTERRA products. And so I hope that you are as excited as I am about our class today. Our speaker is my good friend, Millie Hensley. This woman is amazing, and I love her because she makes me laugh. And she's always there to help me whenever I have technical difficulties with computer stuff. So she is a domestic engineer and she shines. She absolutely shines when it comes to caretaking. And
Yes.
I believe everybody needs a Millie in their life. And Beth will agree with that. So before I turn it over to her to share her slide presentation and her personal experience, I'm going to remind you to use that reactions button on the bottom of your page. And just know that we are recording this class and I will be posting it to my YouTube channel so that you could review it there, or you could actually share it with somebody who may have missed the class. Okay? So without any further ado, I'm going to pin Millie and you can take it
Ooh.
away.
Oh my gosh. First of all, thank you so much for asking me to do this. Talk about putting myself on the spot by doing this. So I appreciate you for including me on this. This is a topic that's very close to my heart, and it's one of the reasons I started using doTERRA products. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and just dive right in. Before I start, though, I was wondering if anybody that's on the call right now, if you can drop a 1 in the comments, if you yourself are on the spectrum or maybe have a family member that's on the spectrum. Okay. I just learned that from one of our training classes, drop a 1, right? Okay. Can somebody drop a 2 if you don't know anything about autism and ADHD and being on the spectrum? And there's no shame on this because this is like fairly new to a lot of people as well. And then I'll go ahead and start. Let's see. Hi, everybody. Okay, let's see. Share screen and watch this. Okay, Mapu, give me a thumbs up if you can see the whole screen. Oh, awesome. Alrighty, so essential oils to help with autism and ADHD. I am Millie Hensley. I will be your host today, or domestic. I don't know what it was that you called me, but it was awesome. So I'm just so excited to be here today to share my journey or our journey with autism spectrum. Looking back, it's pretty incredible to see how much we've overcome as a family since those early days of literally not knowing what was going to be the next step for my son. When our son Parker, who you see here, this sweet little baby, was diagnosed just at 2 years old, it was like our whole world turned upside down. And even though we were told it's okay, boys develop slower, he'll catch up, he'll speak, we just couldn't shake that feeling that something was just, it wasn't quite right. That feeling that you get as parents, if we have parents here, when something's off. So we kind of, we knew that. So his struggles with communication were becoming more apparent and he was becoming more frustrated. So as parents, we had to advocate and just, really work really fast. So that's when early intervention became our guiding light of sorts, from speech therapy to occupational therapy, and finding the right school program, like an early, a blended inclusion free kindergarten was amazing for him. And this is something that really helped. Another key thing that really helped his progress was social interaction. So joining play groups with friends that were not neurodivergent. And they just accepted him for who he was. So that was a big help for us, especially as a parent of a child on the spectrum, not knowing what even this was. This is the big thing. Now, to put it into perspective, when my husband and I were first told that our son would never speak, social interact, go to a neurotypical school, catch a ball, throw a ball, my son here, my son here met all of these marks, high marks, right? So this little baby picture, he's like a couple of months old. This is my son at 3 years old going to a pre-kinder. This is him getting his driver's license. This is him graduating from high school without any services. This is him performing and singing in a choir. This is him playing at the Roxy. He taught himself bass guitar. This is him playing sports and scoring a goal. I mean, come on, this is like amazing. And now he's living his dream, working in movies and traveling and getting to do that. And he is an amazing big brother. So that is my son, and that's who I'm basing all this stuff is. So a summary of the relationship between ADHD and autism. Autism and ADHD are closely related conditions that impact behavior and daily life. And we're going to really just explore how they connect. So I'm going to explain to you the differences and what they are, and then the oils that help. So with autism, it affects communication, social skills, and behavior. It's a very broad spectrum with different symptoms. So everybody's different. ADHD involves difficulties with attention, impulsivity, and organization that can also be very challenging, okay? Studies show that about 9.4% of children, I'm sorry?
Markers altered the data days ago.
Okay, I'm so sorry. Studies show that about 9.4% of children with autism also show signs of ADHD. This overlapping makes it really difficult to diagnose and treat. When my son was diagnosed with autism back in 2003, it was 1 in 1,000 kids. Now it's about 1 in 100 that get diagnosed. I do have a lot of words on the slide, so feel free to take screenshots. Because of the time limit that we have, I just don't want to read everything for you, so I'm just going to go through it. So, okay, your limbic system and how it affects, how essential oils have the ability to activate both the nervous system and the endocrine system. So I'm going to go to put it into terms that I understand myself. So the limbic system is like the brain's command center for emotions and memories. So it plays a vital role in how we feel and remember experiences. So when we inhale essential oils, their molecules interact with the limbic system, triggering responses that can either calm, uplift, or soothe. This mind-body connection helps explain why essential oils can be effective tools for managing emotions and promoting relaxation in children on the spectrum and adults alike. It literally plays a vital role in how we feel and remember experiences. Imagine a time when you smelled freshly baked cookies. I mean, for me, it smells like holidays and family get-togethers. I mean, I'm more of a cake person, but whatever. It just makes you feel comfort and nostalgic. That's the limbic system at work, associating the smell with a positive emotion and memories. Same is to be said when you pass by the trash can and it smells absolutely horrible. You kind of go, "Ugh." That's the whole thing. For people that are on the spectrum, sensory processing is differences. It actually may amplify their response to negative smells, making certain environments a little bit more overwhelming and more distressing. So just right now, to help you keep track, consider making a list of all the essential oils that I'm going to be covering today, because we're going to go through a lot of them that are tailored specifically for for different needs of people on the ADHD, ADD, and autism community. Okay, next one. Okay. Why essential oils help. When we smell things, It goes straight to the part of our brain that controls our emotion, like we just talked about, like anxiety, and how we react to danger, right? So that's why smells can make us feel a certain way. Essential oils use this connection to people on the spectrum to feel better quickly and over time, providing both immediate relief and long-term reliefs and benefits, excuse me. By understanding how our diet affects our mood and incorporating natural solutions like essential oils, we can significantly improve well-being. And by diet, I mean protein deficiency. With my son particularly, I'm sure you guys have heard the terminology hangry. That's because you're not getting enough protein. In my son's case, he needed protein all the time, and that helped his mood and his ability to not throw a fit. That was like he always had to be fed. So that's a big part of also of autism, is a good healthy diet with good protein. Okay. Let's see, studies are backing this up. There's essential oil studies that can, it's showing us that it can really make a difference for caregivers and kids on the spectrum. They work right away to help out and keep on giving long-term benefits for our mental well-being. So we're going to talk oils now. Okay, just gave you a really quick thing. I'm sorry. Okay, somebody's getting excited here. I love it. Okay, so for those of us that are in here that maybe are new to essential oils, we're going to talk a little bit about how we use them. And there's 3 ways that we use essential oils. Number 1 is aromatic, topical, and internally. Aromatic is when you actually use a diffuser, or you literally just put it on your hands, you cup and inhale, or put it on your clothing or jewelry. And this is great to affect positively the mood and enhance any other room that you have in the house for sleep. If you're somebody sick, it just means it's going to be in the air. Topical, it's literally when you're applying the oil on your skin. And I'm going to go through then how to apply certain oils for everybody. Internally is when you use the oil internally in water, in a vegetable capsule, under the tongue, if possible. So those are the 3 ways that we use essential oils. Now, not all oils are made the same. doTERRA specifically has one of the best, or the only best oils out in the market, but I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about what oils we can use, but just know that if you're using something internally, make sure it's doTERRA, because they're tested very much, and you're going to get the best and the best. So something that came up when I was putting this presentation was how do you apply oils to individuals that have sensory issues? Application needs to be a pleasant experience. What does that look like? You want to start slowly. Do you want to be gentle? You want to use gentle oils like lavender or frankincense and even dilute them. Do you want to use safe methods like diluting oil with a carrier oil? Fractionated coconut oil is perfect because it's light, it has no scent, and it works just as well when you apply it topically on the bottom of our feet. Do you want to create a calm space? Diffuse oils in bedrooms or even a sensory room for a soothing atmosphere. Set the tone for the day by putting the diffuser on. Consider preferences. Find out or choose oils based on their sensory preference or reactions. So if you have a child that needs to be calm and he really is drawn to one oil more than the other, you got to try them out and see how that experience affects him or her. Seek advice. And I put seek advice here from a natural healthcare professional that's experienced in working with special needs children or adults. You also want to respect choices. Let individuals choose oils they like and offer options for self-application. This is something that's a huge thing for anyone that has a child on the spectrum, to allow them to take care of themselves and self-advocate for themselves. So this is huge. Monitor effects. Keep track on how the oils are affecting mood and behavior. Did I skip one? Educate caregivers. Teach caregivers how to use oil safely and effectively. This is also good if you're taking your child to speech pathology or occupational therapy. You might want to talk to their therapist to see if it's okay for you to apply oils for them before they actually go and get services. How are we doing, Mapu? I can't see you, so it's okay. All righty. So next slide.
Good. We're doing good. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm starting
Good.
to drop some of the links
Okay.
into the chat For any of you who want to click on the link and have those resources available for after the class to do further research, please feel free to do that, okay? I have about 2 or 3 more to share there.
Great. Okay, so let's get into oils. The way I put this together, I wanted to talk specifically about things that we deal with when we have people on the spectrum. I don't want to things that we deal with. This is just, what happens, right? So one of them is attention deficit and hyperfixation. My wonderful son growing up loved Thomas the Tank Engine, the train. Let me just tell you, we had every single train there was. And he was so hyper fixated with it, where he would just play with it and show it to me and tell me about it. And, like that's all he wanted to do was just that. Something that's gone, that kind of just still happening right now as an adult. And he still, when he's working on a project per se, he'll tell me about it. He will show me what he's working on. And granted, this sounds like neurotypical for a lot of people, but he's very repetitive. So he'll tell me a minute and then an hour later he'll tell me again. And I'm like, you just showed me this. That's just him, right? And I'm going to tell you why that happened. So Parker's intense focus on his artwork illustrates hyperfixation and coping mechanism for ADHD. It's just a coping mechanism for a lot of kids on the spectrum of ADD and ADHD. ADD sustains focus, leading to issues with concentrating and completing tasks. So all this stuff, because it's fixating on one thing or a project or something, he's not looking at anything else. This is all he's focusing on. So I have here Peace and Thinker. These 2 oils are magnificent, and you can take a screenshot and I can talk a little bit about it. So for hyperfixation, literally Peace is amazing. And remember that both of these, attention deficit and hyperfixation, are just coping mechanisms that just are providing these people, these children, control and engagement. So this is hard when they have to transition between task and managing time effectively. Mapuana, yes, you have your hand raised.
I love how you called it the other day we were talking in preparation for the class. I loved how you called it a superpower. Do you remember
It
that?
is a super, yes, it is a super. I think most children, or I don't think, I know most children on the spectrum have superpowers because their hyperfixation can help in certain things in their job or in their life because they're very detail oriented. They just need to learn to kind of not focus on just one thing and look at the whole picture. So this helps when we do schedules, when we follow steps. And one of the things that we learned as well is not to give too many commands. For example, I can't say, hey, Mapuana, I need you to do this, this, and this, and this. I need, when I speak to somebody on the spectrum, or if I'm having somebody that's ADHD, I have to go, hey, Mapu, I need you to do this. And when you're done, just let me know. And then I'll give them more stuff. Does that make sense? So it's difficult, but it's totally achievable. So Peace is specifically formulated to promote feelings of tranquility, contentment, and relaxation. It has oils such as lavender, which calms anxiety and sensor sensitivities, marjoram, which promotes restful sleep and improves mood. Don't worry, you're not going to fall asleep while you use this during the day. Vetiver, it grounds you and enhances focus. And ylang ylang, it uplifts mood and reduces agitation. And then on top of that, you have frankincense, which is going to enhance all those other oils in there, and it's going to provide peace and emotional resilience. I mean, what a wonderful blend. You can use the touch roller, which is diluted with fractionated coconut oil. When we first had these, my son as a teenager loved the roller. Now that he's a little bit more grown up, he rather just diffuse it or just smell it straight from the bottle, the 5 ml. Thinker Blend is also created to support focus, clarity, and cognitive function. This is perfect for somebody that's struggling with attention and executive function challenges, like keeping tasks or even transitioning from one task to another. So the ingredients of this one, also vetiver, so it's another grounding and focus oil, peppermint, which increases alertness and mental energy, clementine, which is uplifting mood and motivation, rosemary, which enhances concentration and cognitive function, and sandalwood, which calms the mind and reduces sensory overload. Just like it says on the bottom, incorporating doTERRA's Peace and Thinker blends offers individuals with ADHD or autism support for emotional well-being and cognitive functions, enhancing their overall quality of life. These would be great for a child or a person that's either going to occupational therapy or doing speech therapy or even play therapy. I'm going to go to the next one. Maybe I'm not. There we go. Okay. Alrighty. Did I do too many? No, I didn't. There we go. So emotional dysregulation and sensory overload. Okay. So I have a little story about how I learned about sensory overload with my son. When he was very, very young, before he was diagnosed, we would go to a park and he would literally just fall apart. And thinking back about this park, there was a tennis court, there were swings, it was in like a really loud area, and he would be okay for maybe a few minutes, and then I just had to take him home because it was just too much. He was so overwhelmed. Now, something that he does now and something that we've learned is that he needs hugs. And when he hugs maybe a little bit too long. It's not inappropriate. It's just he needs to almost center himself, just like get really hugged, like a deep, deep hug. This helps them kind of reset. He also likes heavy blankets. He likes to be covered up. When he was little, we would just do the burrito thing to help him do sensory overload. And then with occupational therapy, we helped him with jumping and swinging and heart stops, and just playing rough really, really helped him. Emotional dysregulation means feeling things really, really strongly and struggling to control those feelings. So it can show up in different ways, like I said before about the hugging and overreacting. It shows up getting really super angry or sad over the littlest things. Not being able to calm yourself down, finding it hard to relax when upset or overwhelmed, acting without thinking, doing impulsive things like being aggressive or making risky choices, mood swings, going from happy to grumpy really fast, which think about a child on the spectrum that's a teenager that's dealing with everything else and then also having this. It's a lot. I really like balance to help with a lot of this. And balance just creates a calm space inside yourself, making it easier to handle all sorts of strong emotions and overwhelming feelings. It smells cozy and calming, and it smells like a little warm hug for your emotions. And the reason this oil is so great for children on the spectrum is that it has spruce, which promotes feelings of calmness and tranquility and stress relief. It has hoe wood, which suits the mind and the body, promoting relaxation and emotional balance. It has frankincense, another amazing oil that's going to ground all the emotions and promote a sense of peace and centeredness. Blue tansy, which calms the nervous system and reduces feeling of tension and unease. You also have blue chamomile, which helps when you're irritable and promotes relaxation and also aids in emotional stability. Osmanthus elevates mood and reduces feelings of stress, fostering emotional well-being all around. Balance is best used on the bottom of your feet every morning, or even in your diffuser or your pulse points. It's also really good for making sensory Play-Doh, just adding balance to any kind of toy or any kind of fidget. It's amazing for children. Anybody can use it. Wild orange, which is one of my favorite oils, it's just uplifting and promotes feelings of happiness and positivity, providing emotional support all day long. And then you can actually add this to any other food, or maybe if your child or person loves smoothies, add a little bit of wild orange on there. Diffuse it with balance, diffuse it with lavender. Steady is another great support, focus, boost alertness, uplifts mood, and improves memory and calms the mind. Steady is part of our children line, but I was talking to Beth the other day, and I just think, yes, it's diluted for sensitive skin. So I think we need to rebrand it and just call it steady. It's just a different version of balance. And there's different oils in it. So you have vetiver, which enhances focus and concentration. It has peppermint, which again, alertness, clarity, cognitive performance, and productivity. It has clementine, which is uplifting. It has rosemary, which is really good for memory and cognitive function. And it has sandalwood too. So amazing oils altogether. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Okay, so this one's really important, okay? Relationships, speech, eye contact, touch. Frankincense and copaiba oils are real game changers for those on the spectrum. They're like the friendly hand when it comes to speech, eye contact, and sensory use. Frankincense calms those jitters, making speech clearer, while copaiba eases anxiety and helps things feel more comfortable, making social connections smoother, excuse me. Imagine just trying to talk, but the words just won't come out right. That's what it feels for some people with autism. They may take longer to learn or talk or find it hard to say words clearly. For others, certain sounds or noises can bother them, making it tough to concentrate on speaking. It's like trying to have a conversation in a really noisy room where you can't hear yourself or think. Now think about how you feel when someone stares at you. Now imagine feeling that way all the time. For some people with autism, making eye contact can feel really uncomfortable or even scary. It's not that they're not paying attention or that they don't care. It's just that looking someone in the eye can be very overwhelming for them. So instead, looking at faces, they may focus on other things like their fidgets or toys, their hands, objects up in the sky, fans, anything. That's just their way of trying to cope with feeling overwhelmed in social situations. My son, and I am so guilty of this, as the Latin raised parent, I was always told, look at me in the eyes when you're speaking to me. And that is the biggest mistake that I did with my son growing up, which is like, look him in the eyes, look at me in the eyes. And he just couldn't. And it wasn't because he didn't want to, it's because he was overwhelmed and I was overwhelming him. So it breaks my heart that this poor kid was getting in trouble at school because they asked, the teacher would go like, he's not looking at me or looking at the board when I'm teaching. And back then, that's when we figured out that he had hyper ADHD, which meant that even though he's still on the spectrum of autism, he would go to class, he would do all his work, he would not necessarily look at the board, but he was intaking everything that she was saying, and he could answer, just not making eye contact. Pretty crazy. Another thing with ADHD and autism is also hyper ADHD. Have you ever worn clothes that have the itchy tags that are like uncomfortable and you're basically just like itching yourself the whole time? For some people on the spectrum, certain textures, fabrics can feel like that all the time. Imagine feeling someone touch you, but it's just too much, like nails on a chalkboard. That's how it can feel for people, with some people on the spectrum. On the other hand, some may love certain types of touch, like deep pressure or hugs, like my son. It is their way of seeking out sensory input to feel calm or comfortable. Parker's OT go-tos were burrito blankets, like I said before, extra hugs, tight hugs, jumping, trampoline, swings, and we did swings and trampoline and jumping before we went to school every day. Obviously not when he was in junior high, but when he was in kindergarten and up, that was our routine every single day. Okay, are we good so far? Yep, no questions so far. I can't see the comments or anything, so I just want to make sure.
We're good.
Oh, awesome. No questions so far, good. Alrighty, so something really kind of neat about, well, not neat, and I have to say, something that I forgot to say at the beginning is that I started with doTERRA when my son was transitioning from elementary school to junior high, and that's when I was introduced to doTERRA. I used other oils, and God, how I wish I had doTERRA, because all I was really using was lavender, and I won't even say what the company was, but compare it to what we have here now, there's no comparison. And anybody that has a child on the spectrum should have a little tool kit of all the oils that to help them. Okay, that's all I was going to say. So sleep, hyperactivity, fidgeting, restlessness, sleep issues. Many people on the spectrum struggle with sleep problems, like trouble falling asleep or staying asleep. Sensory sensitivities and anxiety can make it so hard for them to relax, leading to awakening in the middle of the night. And depending on where they are on the spectrum, this could be pretty dangerous, especially if you have a kid that likes to get into everything and can go in the kitchen and create chaos. The thing about not getting enough sleep, and this goes just with anybody, it can make any other symptoms worse. So if you're not getting good enough sleep, you're going to be irritable, and it's going to be difficult communicating anyway. I mean, think about when you don't get a good night's sleep, you're going to be totally tired. Now, with fidgeting and restlessness, it's pretty common with a lot of children and a lot of people on the spectrum. So it's hard for them to stand still. So they like to fidget, they tap, they rock. And all this helps them cope with sensory overload. But this also makes it really hard for them to focus and interact with other people, like I said before. Addressing all the sleep issues and hyperactivity, it's going to improve their lives. Actually, helping with sleep, it's going to improve anybody's life, right? And I chose these 3 oils here because they're amazing for sleep. You have cedarwood, vetiver, and serenity. Serenity is a blend featuring lavender, cedarwood, coriander, ylang ylang, marjoram, Roman chamomile, vetiver, and sandalwood. I don't know if you see a pattern of the oils that I keep on sharing. They're very similar. Vetiver calms and grounds. Serenity just creates a tranquil atmosphere, reducing stress and promoting relaxation. Cedarwood is going to be naturally boost melatonin, fostering restful nights and daytime focus. It's woodsy, and it just helps you relax, and it's great for anybody that's dealing with ADHD or autism. Okay, so I was on another call a while back, and they had this biochemist hack that was amazing. This mom of a daughter on a spectrum spoke about how hard it was for her daughter to fall asleep. And she put together in a roller a blend of cedarwood and serenity topped with fractionated coconut oil to calm even the most anxious mind. And a pro tip, she added bergamot to kind of give it a little bit extra punch. This is if you have a very anxious person. And the way they used it is they used it anytime they left the house, anytime they travel, and before to bed. It just did its magic. Back of the spine and feet. That's easy. Another pro tip is massaging vetiver and cedarwood, on the spine and feet before bedtime while diffusing or inhaling liquid calm. Liquid calm is it's basically a recipe that has been around for a long time, and it's balance and serenity together in the diffuser. Okay. And like I said here, this is a clinical master aromatherapist master blend for preparing the body and mind to rest deeply and reset. So I just have right there balance and serenity just for you to try it. Pretty neat, huh? So something that came out a while back when I first started with doTERRA was this peaceful child recipe. Now, granted, it is a lot of oils in a roller, and that's why we broke it down to different things. But at the time, and I'm talking 2014, 2015, this is how aggressively we were trying to calm our children down because this works. And you can take a screenshot. And what I did is I've just kind of cut it into different recipes for different people. The roller should be for a 30 ml roller. And one of the things that I like to do is give you a pro tip. And a pro tip is you can get the vetiver roller and an extra roller and half it. And then that way you can have 2 rollers. Any questions on that? No, okay. Okay, moving right along. So adaptive for the win. Regulation with routines, keeping center, calm, focus, and being brilliant. And yes, this is great for caregiver support as well. People on the spectrum, actually all of us need stability. What does that look like for a lot of people? Scheduling and routines. To this day, my son, who's going to be 23 years old, knows that if he goes to the hallway, there's a calendar that shows everybody's schedule. Not because I am a control freak, but because since day one, the biggest advice, one of the many advices that I got was, let's keep a schedule for Parker. And that'll help, because remember, a lot of kids can't transition from one thing to another. So a day would look like this. Good morning, breakfast. Okay, buddy, after breakfast, we're going to get dressed and we're going to go to the park. Okay. After we go to the park, we're going to go to therapy with Miss Julie and we're going to do speech. Okay. So at speech, then we would go, we're going to go home, but first mama needs to go to Target and then we're going to go home. So giving him those cues really, really help. I'm just like thinking of like back then. And even now, my son will ask me, what do we have planned for the day? And it's still in his mind that he wants to know what everybody's doing so he can kind of be, okay, that's what's happening. Adaptive has been a lifesaver. This is the glue that makes all of this achievable for caregivers too. When my little one, my son was given, when he was little, one of the many things that were suggested for him was a GABA supplement. God, I wish we had adaptive back then. And this really helped him regulate focus, calm, centered, and being present when he was first diagnosed. By using this system, my son is able to stay centered and ready for the day and is able to transition with many unexpected situations while at work. He works in the film industry, which is very all over the place. Consistent routines really help. Rituals, stability, this is just security for people on the spectrum. Adaptive oil or the adaptive system, you have the touch roller, you have a 15 ml roller that's undiluted. And what's in it is lavender, magnolia, neroli, sweet gum, which soothes and stabilizes. Lavender, which aids in attention and calm. It's beneficial for focus. Wild orange, spearmint, which uplifts mood. Copaiba, rosemary, which will soothe anxiety. Integrating into our routines provides familiarity and support emotional well-being. I love how that's said. The capsules are different, right? It's a comprehensive solution for stress and mood regulation. It has lavender, coriander, wild orange, fennel. I can't say that word for the life of me. Selenium, GABA, ahi flower. And GABA, like I said before, it promotes relaxation and reduces apprehension. Ahi flower oils aids in overall well-being and reduces anxious feelings as well. Looking at my notes really quick.
I love how you say that this is for caregivers as well, right? Because we can't
Yes.
forget about the caregivers. Very important.
No. As a parent or any parent that has a child on the spectrum, it's really hard to feel accepted in a community because, like I said before, there's different types of like on the spectrum. You don't know where you're at. And some of my friends' kids are nonverbal and they're older and they still have a lot of services. And it's really hard for outsiders to look in and kind of go, oh my God, what's this problem? And not understand enough about it. So that stress that it puts on yourself, and if you're still married, and that relationship's really hard. So you need to take care of yourself. Whoever's taking care of somebody on the spectrum, they need to do a lot of self-care. I stopped at smooth transition. So this really helps from going from one task to another. It's, even incorporating calming activities and preferred sensory experiences into routines helps individuals regulate emotions and sensitivity effectively. Things that help with regulation of routines are, like I said, calendars, visual schedules, timers, cue cards. Enhancing control and independence is huge. Providing a supportive environment. It just accommodates their individuality, and it just fosters a sense of belonging and promoting over well-being and success. One of the things that we taught Parker when he was young was to self-advocate for himself and not to use it for an excuse. And at one point in junior high, he got a bad grade for not doing his work. And he goes, well, it was my autism was acting up. And we're like, no, that is not how it works. Oops. Okay. Alrighty. So something else that's amazing from doTERRA to help our children is our omega fatty acids, just commonly found in fish and oil supplements. And these have been studied for potential benefits in neurodivergent individuals. Omega-3 supplementation will and may improve social interaction, communication, and repetitive behaviors. Now, this is something that, along with GABA, was prescribed for my son from his speech pathologist, said omega is going to help him with brain function. And I didn't even this was not around when we had it, so I used something else. But we already know why doTERRA is better. And think about take a screenshot. You're looking at all the stuff that you have here. And we have an option that's liquid, and we have an option that is, you can take a pill, and there's even a vegan option to it. Okay, so I'll go to the next slide. Okay, so like I said before, the gut-brain connection. So nutrition, it might be a challenge for most, and kids on the spectrum that only want to eat certain foods. Some are not really healthier versions, but if you don't really want to listen. If your kid wants to eat those chicken nuggets, the dinosaur chicken nuggets for the rest of his life, and that's all he eats, by all means, if he's happy and he's doing everything he's supposed to, I'll let him have it, right? But let's take care of the gut a little better. So if you have to find another battle, just skip the food and just clean the gut, right? Okay. So PB Restore, okay? So this is PB Restore, and it's basically, okay, so PB Restore is the bottom one, I'm sorry. It features a dual chamber time release delivery system, ensuring digestive comfort, gut barrier integrity, and healthy metabolism throughout the day. Early research suggests potential benefits for brain, cardiovascular, urological, and metabolite function. Yes, somebody said something. As well as DNA response to oxidative stress. Okay. The PB Restore Probiome, which is the Pixie Sticks, also, sorry, are we muted? Oh, sorry. It supports gut health, which research suggesting linked to neurodevelopmental disorder like autism and ADHD. With 30 prebiotics, probiotics, and postbiotics, it restores microbial balance crucial for their well-being. Containing 18 billion CFUs or probiotics from 24 active cultures, PB Restores promotes diverse gut bacteria essential for behavior and cognitive function. Its dual chamber time release delivery system ensures sustained support throughout the day. I did them backwards, I'm sorry. Listen, these are amazing tools to help your children flourish. And a lot of kids on the spectrum have a hard time swallowing pills. So maybe opt to getting the Pixie Stick. It tastes great. If you don't want to put it under their tongue, they can actually put it in water and they can drink it, and it's amazing. And taking care of their gut is the same as taking care of their brain. It's just another brain. That's just me. Okay, so before we part ways, I want to extend a special invitation to each of you. If you were invited by a friend, a family member, a colleague, I encourage you to just reach out to them to discuss a plan of action for your next order. Whether you're a current customer looking to restock your favorites, or if you're just starting your doTERRA with Journey, we are here to support you in every step of the way. And you're probably wondering, where can you start? This is the question we often get. There's two things you can do. Hopefully, you have a list already in front of you of the oils that you saw that maybe made an impact or would make an impact in your home. So if so, just reach out to that person or Mapu or myself, whoever invited you, so we can get you started. Now, if you don't know where to start, I put together a couple of suggestions. So I'm going to go through them. And these are some of the resources that you can get as well. Regional Center, no matter where you're at, this is a state-funded service that you get for children under 3 years old. And after 3 years old, you need to go through your school district, and also Regional Center as well will help. Okay, so this little kit right here, it's an option 1. It has your PV Assist Plus, your IQ Omega, Steady, Peace, and Wild Orange. Then you have a second option with Steady, Frankincense, and Wild Orange. And we have a little fun thing going on that we call Silver Club. So you get additional items with it. And one of them is Lavender Touch, which is amazing oil for calming and relaxation. And then if you go over a certain amount, you get to pick a diffuser, toothpaste, hand wash. It's up to you. You get to pick one of those, and you get a free membership as well and a welcome gift. Another great option is just to empower and independence. I love this. I still kept this in here. The adaptive system is amazing for both your person and your caregiver. And we also have touch rollers of Thinker, Steady, and Lavender, which make a great, great kit and a great little thing to put in their school bag, or for them to put in your pocket, or for yourself to put in your pocket and use all the time. Literally, I just want to say thank you for letting me share my story and what has helped. And I look forward to connecting with some of you guys soon. Mapuana, thank you for inviting me and having me. I know we went over time. I try to really keep it 30 minutes, but it's a lot of information. So would you like me to stop sharing?
Oh, Millie, I just want to reach through and give you a big, gigantic hug. Let's show her some love. Thank you so much for sharing. You did wonderful. Let's open it up for questions, experiences, thoughts, and then we will have our raffle and close it. I hope everyone here is following one of us, Millie or myself, on Instagram. If you have any questions, like she said, reach out to us or reach out to the person who invited you here. Does anybody have anything they'd like to share? Hi, Leah. Look, Millie, Leah came.
I love that. That makes me feel really good.
Leah,
I will.
let's go ahead. Hold on, Millie. Leah, let's go ahead and have your thoughts, honey.
Yes. Oh boy.
I think that I was meant to be on this call. I actually just shared with Mapuana that we found out that our son has autism.
Oh.
And this was one of the first times. Well, okay, I as working at doTERRA, yes, I have many different resources to helping my son, but having more in-depth knowledge such as this has been so helpful to me. I was taking screenshots after screenshots after screenshots, and I'm so happy that that I was able to connect with like-minded people, and that I just get to hear your story even more. So thank you so much for being vulnerable and sharing with us.
Absolutely. First of all, the great thing about your son being diagnosed now is that we're looking at 20 years difference, and there's been so much progress, where before, when I and my husband first found out, it was really hard because we only got very limited services, so we had to pay out of pocket. So a lot of the therapies were not covered by insurance. Now a lot more of the therapies are covered by insurance, which is great. And, you know, just like I said, I mean, it's hard. So make sure you take care of yourself and know that this is just his little superpower. And he's just going to be that, you know, the kid that his name's, hey, buddy, that his name is going to appear on a movie screen one day. That's my son.
Oh,
You
love it.
know?
Love it. Thank you so much. Thanks for sharing, Leah, and being vulnerable too with that information. Okay, anybody else? We have time for just one more. And then I'm going to do the raffle.
I'm all. I hope I didn't have any boogies.
Let me
No
see.
questions.
Maida, you're still here. I'm curious. How did you
Yes.
like all the information?
It was nice to hear all the information. A lot of the oils that Millie shared, we are using. We have a lot of gut health issues in our with our Matthew, and so we are pretty consistent with his vitamins and the PBs and things like that. Matthew does love protein, so I don't have that issue. So
Good.
Every time he does scan, though, it does say that he needs protein because he won't eat all proteins. He only likes the high-end steaks. So that's just a little rough for us to do every day. But yeah, so we do have the protein powders, and so we have an amazing support system with Pedro and Wendy, and always great ideas. But I love how Millie was describing how you do have to take care of yourself because they do not have an off switch to where you like, wait a minute, I need 15 minutes. They don't understand that. So self-care, I think, is a huge thing. And taking care of yourself is, again, something that I'm working on because they need us. So I love how you did share that, Millie. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. All right, everybody, thank you so much for being here on another Friday class. I know this was a great topic. We will repeat this in a couple of months. My raffle oil that I'm giving away is lemon. Very simple yet powerful oil. Helps people to focus, but also helps lift your mood. Smells very crisp and clean, and most children are very open to citrus oils, so lemon, wild orange, and all the other ones. So the winner of this oil is Parrish. Are you still here? Yes, there you are. I know Wendy invited you, and so I'm going to get your address from her to mail this off, and you'll be able to enjoy some more lemon essential oil. All right, so next week, Friday, we're going to be here again at 3 o'clock. Bree Vargas is teaching. She will actually be opening up and running the whole Zoom because some of us here are off to Pennsylvania to tour the Birch Distillery. So watch our Instagram accounts and follow our stories there so you could learn a lot more. Bree is going to be talking about all the May promotions, and I forget what else is her topic, but you shall see the invite on my account. Okay. And then watch my Instagram for May classes as well. I'm going to be sharing all of the topics for our Friday classes. And I also have some in-person classes in San Antonio, Texas. And some of us here are going to be hosting big events in New York. So watch our Instagram accounts for that as well. And then we'll see you back here next week, Friday. All right. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you for joining.